Moving on. When you recognise it's over, when you accept it's over, you start looking at yourself. What happens? What did I become? What did she become? For 15 years, I thought we were made for each other. Then I realised something. She had impressed her perspectives on me so forcefully, I turned into this caricature, a kind of predictable mirror image of her likes and dislikes. You know what I mean? I was, maybe still am, a sort of relief map of her tendencies and opinions. I became the end game, her target ideal. My fault, I guess. I let her cold glare and disapprove me into submission, just a little bit, every day. I wound up being this passive consumer of all her ideas about my wardrobe, my music tastes, the way I ate, how I worked, everything. Everything! Wow. Was I more impressed with her ideas about what I should be than my own ideas about what I should be? Or did I just like sex? You know, fight her on what I'm listening to or wearing or eating, or sell out for approval with all the perks. All the perks. She was good. She is good. We were great together. Isn't it true? People are fascinated by strangeness. And fascinating is good, right? Dark, handsome stranger, mysterious, dusky woman, all that stuff. And people like people who are like them too, having things in common. There's some good in that, no? When we met, we weren't entirely like each other. We were this close. And now I think about it, she clearly thought she'd like me more if I became more like her, you know, in keeping with her ideals. So the gap closed over time, and at some sick tipping point I became invisible. So familiar as to be indistinguishable. I could not be distinguished. Then out of the blue, she happened upon something that was strange and fascinating. A new person, not at all in keeping with her ideas. A great, big, fucking doofus. A stay-at-home creep. An oily, plum-voiced buffoon with all the personality of a 90s Mondeo. And that was so different to everything she was and is. It was actually appealing. And then we were gone. And so that is how everything I wanted in life was stopped by the human equivalent of a Mark I Mondeo. A mid-range, mid-market, middle-of-the-road, middle-class, gutless, beige suede and leather effect twat. How did it begin, I wonder? Was he over to pick up Jack one day? Maybe Misty and Chloe bundled upstairs to see Jack, leaving Laura and Richard in the kitchen. That's probably it. I expect they were desperately trying to normalise it, overcompensate like crazy, hoping a bit of chat about the locals or school would help. They were probably laughing politely as if their lives depended on it, like they were auditioning for the frickin' Archers or something. And all the while, the most sincere of their actions, by some margin, was staring into each other's eyes, creeping a little bit closer with every half second of eye they gave. Yeah. That sounds about right. That's how I'd have done it. Slow and snaky. Not too far too soon, just enough to get the idea, to get a feel for the reciprocity. But I didn't do it. They did that. Something like it. They just couldn't stand the pace. Life was too steady, too complete, too much the same every day, and they needed to make it different. They needed to mix it up and mess it up for themselves, for the kids, and for everyone who close enough gives a rat's arse. That's life. That's what all the people say. Riding high in April, shut down in May. If you're tuning in, Laura, hear this. You are an opinionated, stubborn, self-obsessed, vain parody. You are so wedded to your view of the world. You only want those who are completely aligned to it or completely outside of it. You're not a good person. I don't regret loving you. I don't regret making Jack with you. I don't regret the time we spent together. I only regret one thing. That I was impressed enough by you to stop being me. That was a once in a lifetime, never to be repeated, king-size clanger of an error. You were good. We were good. But now, I think I'm better being me.